Everyone, gonna make the owl that we made all the canes the other day for. So we had the bullseye cane, we had the leaf cane, and then the watercolor cane and the stripe cane, but I don't think we're gonna use that. So I'm working on the owl's stomach, and unfortunately I started the video and I didn't record. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a 1.5 inch circle cutters. I have these on my Etsy store. It's number 180. If anybody's interested, the link is down below. And I'm just going to kind of make a cab. Okay, so I'm just going to press down. Keeping the center a little higher, just like you normally would with a cab. And the reason I'm starting with the stomach is because the stomach, the eyes, and the ears are going to have to go into the oven first before we assemble, so I'm just getting a head start. So I ran out of the blend that I made the other day. So basically I just took some some pearl green, peacock blue, a white, and a gold, and I made the blend. And I actually put a mold that I made, and it's the Tree of Life. And it came from Christy Friesen stamp. And so I wanted it inverted. So I went ahead and made a mold out of this one, I believe that is. Put that on just some old scrap clay, and this is what I ended up getting out of it, is this little Tree of Life. Okay, so I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm hoping I don't destroy the whole thing, but we're just gonna very gently lay this down. I knew that was going to happen. So you want to kind of fold it over the top because you don't want any gray to show. I was going to silk screen it, but I got kind of chicken because I was afraid that I would rub it off or something when I did this, so I didn't want to do that. So we're going to put it on the biggest one here, and we're going to try and shape it a little better. So very gently we're just going to lay it, make sure everything touches and that it stays down. And I mean, it's okay. I made it really thick on the impression. That way if my fingers got in the way, which they are, that it shouldn't destroy what I made. I don't want to sit down on this. Let me grab some alcohol. Usually it sticks to these really good. Okay, so now let's try it on that one. Okay, so we're going to do that one, and I think I'm going to make an extra one because it seems a lot smaller than what I thought it would look like. So we're going to make that blend again. This time I think I'm going to use just a little more. So all I did was make a couple little pieces of blue, gold, white, and a pearl green. Actually, it's a peacock pearl. And you'll see that I'm not worried about getting it exact. And there's some extra that I had on the first one that I made. Okay. I'm going to try and keep my work surface clean today. Try. Should place bets. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of spread it a little bit. I'm going a little quick because I don't want you guys to have to sit through an hour of a video. And this is going to be time consuming as it is. So let me go ahead and pause this part. Okay, so here's our second one that we made. I don't know what that is right there. A little piece of dust and probably dog hair. But I will sand it when I'm done anyways, so I'm not really worried about that. So on this one, I really like that blue and the green. So I think I'm going to do the same. Just trying to figure out which side I want on top and which I want on bottom. Okay, so again, we're going to press in really good. Oh, I should have added water. Oi. Hopefully this comes out again. I was lucky the first time. Always add water if you have a polymer clay mold because they will stick inside. Oh, thank you. Okay, so that one came out okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of making that first piece, I'm just going to make a regular piece like that. I'm going to lay that on. And then if I need to fill it later, I'll just go ahead and do that. Because I really want this to be big. And that just seems like it made it really small. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out. Okay. It's about where we want it, but I just want to cut a little bit off of it. See, these circles, they just, I had to make my own because I wasn't getting the exact size that I wanted. So I'm just going to smooth that up real quick. Okay, that's a little bigger. I kind of like this one. So if you see, I'm just kind of pushing it over the scrap clay. Being really careful not to ruin the shape that I just made. Yeah, that's a little bigger. I love that. Oh my gosh, I really like that. Now I'm not sure if I like the leaves or if I'm going to still go with it, but okay, so there is his belly, which we're going to put aside, and we're going to do the eyes really quick, and we're going to do the ears. So I don't need all of this. All I need are 2 3mm slices, and I need these about 3/4 of an inch, which I think, so that's 1/4. I need one smaller than that. Okay, so that's about the size I want it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it alone, and I'm just going to do it the way it is. Part of me feels like instead of using the leaf though, well, it's got a tree of life, so I want to use the leaf. Okay, never mind. I was thinking making like a fantasy cane or something like that, which will be my next owl. If this turns out, then I'll do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. I'm not going to let you guys watch it. I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. This is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Just make sure. Okay, so now, excuse me, I'm losing my voice or something tonight. So we just wanted about 3mm. So I'm going to use my trusty market tool. And unfortunately, the clay is a little soft. So I'm going to make sure we have a really sharp knife. Okay, we're going to even it up. Yeah, it's really soft. Okay, so go about right there. I'm going to turn them over. Okay, so let me make sure they're close to the same diameter. Okay, feel good. So, because they're so soft, they kind of turned into a rectangle. So we're going to put the cutter over it, and we're just going to kind of spin it around. Let's see if we can get the circle back. There we go. When you're making the eyes, you might want to put them in the refrigerator or the freezer for about 5-10 minutes. Get them hard so that they're easier to cut. Okay, I want them just a little bit bigger though. So I am just going to use an acrylic block here. And I got a little piece of paper right there. That's all I need so it doesn't stick. Just want to make sure they're both the same thickness. I want to squish down a little bit more than the other one. Okay, that one didn't get as big as that one. So we're going to squish them a little bit. Okay, so now I need some black beads, and I need 4mm. So I'm going to grab a couple 4mm black beads here. Those are 6. I see them in here. I just can't grab them. Okay. So I think we're done with the circle cutters. So we're going to get those out of our way. Okay. So there's our eyes. They're about the same size. And now we're just going to take the bead and we're going to put it right in the middle. I don't mind if the bead hole's facing up. Okay, we're going to just push that down. Okay, now I'm going to take it back out. And I'm going to put a little bit of Bacon Bond on there, just to make sure we got a really, really nice hold on it. Put that way over here. Can never be too careful with it. How that wasn't enough, but obviously it wasn't enough. Okay. So now we'll put the beads right back in. Okay. So now we have the eyes. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do the same as the stomach, and we're going to put them upside down so the bead is touching this. I'm just going to put it on a bigger one. I don't want a really bad curve. Okay, and you're just going to put it on that. And if the bead pokes through, that's okay. We can put a little piece of clay on the back if that happens. So now you can go in here and just kind of round it up. And the design's not going to be the same as the front, so if it doesn't look like it's right, don't worry about it, because the other side should be fine. So just get it as good as you can into a circle. This side looks a little flatter. Sometimes you just got to keep manipulating. Okay, I think that's okay. Now this guy, it's kind of hard to stick because of that black bead, so you just got to press it a little hard. And obviously the biggest thing you want is the eyes to be about the same size. They don't have to be identical, but you want to get them as close as you can. This one's so much easier than this one's been. Okay, so I'm thinking that's round. I think I need to push the sides down a little more on this one. I don't know why it looks a little smaller than the other one. Probably because I'm on the wrong one, huh? There we go. Much better. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have our eyes. So the next thing we need to do is we need to do the ears. And on the ears, I need a 5mm piece. This just seems really dark. I barely see the blue. Alright, so we're going to go 5mm on this. Okay. And we're going to go opposite. We'll go that one facing that way, that one facing this way. And this one, we're going to point it a little bit. We're going to make one side really, really sharp because this is going to stick into his head. So we're going to need to get that down in there. So you just kind of make it into a leaf. Okay, and you're going to do the same with that one. So we're going to pinch this one a little bit more on the top so that it matches. Okay, and I don't want anything sticking up. So I just want to make sure these are all flat on top. Okay, so before I put all that in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and make the body. That way I can put the ears in it and see if I even like it. Okay, so those are about the same size. All right, so for the body, we're going to go about 1.5 inches. And I'm actually going to use aluminum foil. Okay, so where are we? We're in about 1.5. Okay, let's go 175. I'm going to kind of try and fold it to that size. Fold that in half. Okay, so about right there is about 175. So I'm just rolling it. Crumpling it. Gonna want it in a log. I'm only doing this so it's not really, really heavy and dense. And it's a good way not to have to use too much clay, even though it's just scrap clay that I'm using. Okay, we need a little bit more on that side. Okay, so now that we got pretty much the height that we want, I'm just going to keep adding a little bit more. Making a nice little log. And the reason I want to make sure that it's about that same size is because if I get bigger, then my stomach's going to be too much smaller. So I don't want that to happen. So again, we're about 2 inches now. I don't want 2 inches. So we're just going to push that down a little bit. All right, so that's about perfect right there. And it's nice and tight, so that means there's no air bubbles in it. So we're going to put just one more strip in the center. Okay. So again, we're going to measure one more time. We're about where we want to be. Okay, so now all we need is some scrap clay. So I'm going to grab some of that green, some of this gray, some of this gross stuff, and I'm going to go condition it real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so that's conditioned, and I use a 0 on my machine. You can use a 1. Okay, and I'm going to just cut a little farther out because I need the top and the bottom. So we're going to make sure we get a straight line. Yeah, my lines are never straight. Okay, and we're just going to wrap this up. I'm going to fold the sides in. Trying really hard not to trap air in there. Okay, so now we're just going to roll it. Okay, and I'm going to roll it one more time through the pasta machine. I'm going to put a layer over it. I'm probably going to do this at a 5. I don't need a whole lot thicker than that. Okay, so we're just going to roll it. See if any air bubbles pop up. So far so good. Did we stay by our side? We are at, yep, at 175. Okay, so now we have the body. So before I throw everything else in the oven, I'm going to poke a hole in the top here, and I'll probably go in the middle, right there, right there. Okay. And our ears are going to go in here. So I might need to go a little bigger and a little deeper. Kind of has a face of its own right there. Okay, so your ears are going to end up going like this. Okay. So that's your ears. Okay, so looks okay. They look okay bent down like that. So we're going to go ahead now and throw these in the oven, and I will be right back.